is going on, guys? How y'all doing on this Monday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am up here live for my live review of Monday Night Raw. Again, I've been just waiting until Tuesdays to do my Raw reviews. But again, I slept, in today since, I was off from work for Labor Day, which, by the way, happy Labor Day, everybody. And also, I just have another crazy week. Well, mainly at work, and I don't want to get too far behind on my reviews. So I'm going to do a review tonight. My review's not going to be as rushed. I'm not going to stay up here too long, because quite frankly, there wasn't really too much to talk about on the show tonight. I will save the Cedric Alexander turn alert for tomorrow. But quite frankly, there wasn't too much that really happened on the show. There was some stuff, though, I did enjoy. Some stuff I probably would enjoy better for certain occasions. And other stuff that was just crap to me. So, I'm not going to say this was a complete waste of time of a show, but it still wasn't anything that special to remember down the road. But again, I'm not going to be like I was last week, cranky and moody and just, throwing it out the window. I'm going to try to just talk about this show briefly, but again, like I said, got to get up for work tomorrow, got a rough week. One less person this week, so it's going to be brutal. So, just pray that I get through this week alive and don't get thrown into the fires of hell. Tyler was saying how he thought the show was ass, and then Drew took Randy to Claymore City. You bet your ass he did. So, let's get into the show, talk about this, and then let's go to bed. The show opens up with Randy Orton coming out. The number one contender, of course, for Clash of Champions, to be challenging Drew McIntyre in a rematch for the WWE Championship. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen Drew McIntyre, because last time we saw him, Randy Orton punted him in the skull 3 times. So Orton said last week he told the world he'd jump through whatever hoops he had to do in order to earn his rematch. He beat Owens, Rollins, and Lee to get there. But now he finds himself facing Keith Lee again tonight, which gets to that in a second. And the more they cross paths, the more likely he is to kick him in the head as well. He says, I'd list off everyone I've ever kicked in the head, but Raw is only 3 hours. And I am just like, wow, yeah, really, Raw is just only 3 hours. You're saying it needs to be longer? Hell no, it does not need to be longer. But he's like, Drew McIntyre, I'm talking straight to you now. I kicked you in the head and broke your jaw. And this brings up the recap of the fracturing his jaw. What do you do if the champion can't defend the title, though, at Clash of Champions? It's a one show of the year where every champion has to defend their title. Simple. Hand Orton the belt. He's a patient man, but he doesn't know if he can wait. But then I'm thinking, at the same time, okay, Drew's probably not going to be back till the pay-per-view. Or till maybe the week before. Complete opposite. Ambulance rolls up, Drew McIntyre comes out. First time we've seen him in 2 weeks since Orton punted him in the skull 3 times. So, Drew gets out and he storms to the ring. Bam! There's one. Hits Randy with a claymore. He starts throwing down some punches until the referees pulled him apart to separate them. Backstage, we see Drew McIntyre run into Adam Pearce, who again, once again, whatever the heck his position is, who knows. But Pearce was like, you're not clear that you should be here. But Drew was like, I'm just sending a message that he's going to be a Clash of Champions. And Adam's like, I get it, but respectfully, you need to leave because you're not clear to compete. And Drew's like, okay, I understand that. It's fine. He says he'll leave. Yeah, right. It didn't happen. Then, here comes some interesting stuff that happened on the show, though. Well, that was... The stuff with Drew and Orton I thought was good. But, of course, some of my favorite parts of the show, though, came with this. So, the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin, MVP, and Bobby Lashley are walking around. And they walk past the janitor, and MVP starts accusing him of saying something about Shelton Benjamin's mother. And they basically just tear him to shreds, so the janitor keeps denying it. And then Shelton sucker punches him, and then says, watch what he says. So then we're getting ready for this 6-man tag match. It is the Hurt Business Lashley, MVP, and Benjamin taking on a team of Apollo Crews, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander. So, Ricochet and Apollo are out there. So here comes Cedric coming out. Immediately, though, MVP runs out from behind and attacks Cedric Alexander. And, of course, Ricochet and Apollo jump in immediately and join out to help out their friend and make it 3-on-3. Well, this match did not go on for too long, because during the match, Crews and Lashley started it, and they just, went back and forth. I think he went for a tag on Ricochet, but, of course, they had whooped people across, and I think they had knocked Cedric to the floor or something like that. So Ricochet was on the ring waiting to be tagged in. Just as Apollo's about to tag in Ricochet, though, whoop! Cedric pulls Ricochet off of the apron, and he starts attacking him, slamming him into the ring post, into the barricade, into the apron, and he lays out Ricochet, gets in the ring, and hits Apollo Crews with a lumbar check, and then Shelton Benjamin, who's a legal man, hit pay dirt on Apollo Crews. Cedric turns heel and officially joins the Hurt Business. Of course, that's just getting started. We already dug further into this, because after the match, of course, we have Alexander stay outside the ring, smile at the Hurt Business, like, I got you guys. And of course, ow, bit my lip. MVP, Lashley, and Benjamin seem to be pretty happy about it. So they're sharing a moment, but of course, it's then advertised that we'll be getting a VIP lounge segment with Cedric Alexander. So we got more of this heel turn coming up. And again, I'll save some of it for the turn alert that I record tomorrow. Before we get there, though, we have Andrade, Cien Almas, and Angel Garza on Street Profits yet again. Why? I don't know. But they're playing off this whole thing about Garza walking out on them last week. So, I don't know. During the match, the whole match was just Garza and Almas arguing. And then Garza walked out. They pinned. Andrade got pinned by the Street Profits, and I did not care. I'm just like, okay, you've done this feud how many times? You literally just finished the feud. Just say it's over and move on. Also, at this point, just split up Garza and Andrade. Seriously, just split them up. You've gone back and forth with them for too long. It's old. I don't care. These two shouldn't be booked like that. Just separate them and move on from this. But as Garza was walking out, though, after the match, all of a sudden, to our surprise, and I had a double take, here comes the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing on Raw? I'm like, oh, that's right, brand-to-brand invitation. This one's just stupid. So, they say that the Street Profits are the longest-reigning Raw Tag Team Champions. But everyone just thinks about bowling and whatnot, and because of, probably just what they did with the Viking Raiders again, that was so stupid. So they came to Raw to show them what real champions are like. And they want a champion versus champion match next week. And they pretty much accepted, even though Cesaro and Nakamura them kept going back and forth about saying, we want the smoke and whatnot. It was dumb. So next we're going to be getting a champion versus champion, Raw Tag Team Champion versus SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. I don't know, are they not defending the tag titles at Clash of Champions? Or are they going to unify the titles? I don't know. At this point, if they're going to be doing Raw versus SmackDown, though, at Survivor Series, then I guess we're not going to be having either Cesaro, Nakamura, or the Street Profits as tag team champions. I don't know. Who knows? There's nobody else anyway, so who knows? Unless they're going to merge the titles by then. Which I keep saying, I don't know. We have this segment also with R-Truth eating dinner, and then Akira Tozawa and his ninjas show up. They try to take the title of R-Truth, like, nope, not having it. He gets out of there, but there was just some dumb comedy stuff as usual. Then we have, though, a match with Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. One-on-one, because if you remember last week, they had this match where the winning tag team gets a shot at the women's tag titles, which was the Riot Squad. The loser has to disband. So they weren't forced to split up. So they have this match. And you think this would be a little bit emotional than it was. It wasn't really that emotional. And it worked because it ended up being just a friendly competition match. Peyton Royce wins, even though they both have very generic music. Afterwards, they hug it out, obviously showing that, yeah, we may have had a split, but, we're still friends and whatnot, all that jazz, which would make sense, because, again, it wasn't their fault they split, what story would you go on to have these two hate each other, pretty much, at this point. But, again, rumors have the only reason why they split was because Vince wants to give Peyton Royce a singles push, which I'm cool with that. Again, Peyton definitely has singles potential, I agree. Billy, not really, but Peyton, yeah. Just get the better theme music. Again, go back. This show just going back to Peyton's old theme music in NXT before her and Billy started working as an on-screen tag team. I'll just say it could have just used that. Or I'm sorry, probably CFO owns the rights to it, so who knows? That's why Keith Lee can't use his song. So we have that win that wasn't bad. We get a recap of what's going on with Rollins and Mysterio feud, whatnot, and they inform us that later on Dominic will wrestle Buddy Murphy later on. The whole Mysterio family's there again. Dominic, Ray, Angie, and Aaliyah. They're being interviewed in the ring. Ray thanks Charlie for having them, and he says he doesn't have an exact timetable for his return from his tricep injury, but he's proud of his son and says he knows what he needs to do to put an end to Murphy tonight. Dominic starts talking about what it means to represent his family when Buddy Murphy interrupts him from the Titantron, who says, "You should feel awful because it's your fault that the one man that picked him up when he fell down turned his back on him. And because of him, the Monday Night Messiah wants nothing to do with him." But Ray's like, no. It's not our fault. You chose to side with him. So you chose to make the ultimate sacrifice to end Dominic's career before it begins. But, Murphy said, well, why don't we up the stakes a little bit? Tonight, we're going to do a street fight. Dominic agrees, but he tells him to bring his family ringside because it's the last match he'll get to see. And then Dominic says if he lays a hand on his family, it'll be the last breath he ever takes, which is kind of bold. So, okay, I was kind of looking forward to that match, but we'll talk about that at the end. That's the main event. The women's tag team champions are talking to Adam Pearce backstage because they, for some reason, booked each of them in a handicap match against the Riot Squad. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But then, all of a sudden, Adam gets distracted by McIntyre, who's walking around, and he's like, "You're leaving, right?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm leaving." Yeah, right. Asuka and Mickie James teamed up to beat Lana and Natalya. The match was just a match. I don't care. They were teasing some bickering between Asuka and Mickie, though, because next week we're going to be having a one-on-one Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka versus Mickie James. Did its job there, but of course, like I said, I really don't care what this Natalya and Lana alliance, as I said before. So we have that. Then, before we get to the VIP lounge, we see MVP talking to Cedric backstage. He's like, "Are you ready to make this official?" And Cedric's like, "You bet, man." But then Sheldon Benjamin gets in his ear and says, "Just so you know, if you're faking, I'm going to be the one to teach you why they call themselves a Hurt Business." He's like, "You got nothing to worry about, man." So they come out. Of course, the Hurt Business now has theme music, and of course their t-shirts. They give one to the Cedric, and then they're like, "Whoa, so why, Cedric? What made you finally decide to come to your senses and join us?" Alexander's like, "It's simple. I didn't want to be on the end of a beatdown every week, and I'd rather learn and earn." He was broke with Apollo and Ricochet, and it was hard being partners with the one and only. And why sacrifice his body and career for someone else's championship opportunities? The Hurt Business is the future, so he wants to learn and be with them. But then out came the Viking Raiders, and then Apollo Crews and Ricochet go to the ring and they start brawling, setting up for an 8-man tag match. And this actually was a pretty fun 8-man tag match until that finish. So I didn't know this until someone pointed me out to me on Twitter. So Ivar did a suicide dive, basically taking out everyone on the outside except for Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. And I saw it after it showed a replay. Ivar put up an X. So there's rumors how Ivar got hurt, which that would suck because Vince would be losing his turkey leg Playboy because every woman thinks he's cute and whatnot. And he realizes with a turkey leg for freaking comedy. Again, it's not funny, Vince, at all. And again, I swear you have a man crush on Ivar if you keep doing booking like this. But in the ring, Ricochet goes for a 630 senton, but then Alexander dodges it, and then I'm thinking he's going to hit the lumbar check. But instead, he hits a Michinoku driver. Now, I don't know if Cedric had meant to hit the lumbar check and he just screwed up with it or what, but he didn't hit it. Ricochet clearly kicked out way before 3. But they said he didn't kick out at 3, and it looked super botched and super bad. Like I said, I don't know if Cedric was supposed to hit the lumbar check on Ricochet or what, but it was just a very weird looking botch. But they're declaring it the winner and Cedric getting the win. Of course, her business is happy because saying, "Hey, see, we told you we can do it for you." So Cedric is in again. I think it's a good idea for him. Again, I'll talk more about it though when I do my turn alert tomorrow though and get my full thoughts on it. But yeah, giving Cedric a direction to go for it. So definitely one of my favorite parts of the show. McIntyre though is shown backstage. He's still in the building. He's being interviewed and he said it would pain him to disappoint Adam Pearce by sticking around, but he grabbed the wrong phone. And you wouldn't know it, he can't find an exit either. Okay? It was advertised then that Kevin Owens and Aleister Black were going to take place inside Raw Underground. I didn't like what we got, which we'll get to that in a second. Before though we got that though, we see Shane McMahon outside of Raw Underground's entrance when Owens rolls up. And of course they talk about, they had their differences, so Shane's trying to put water under the bridge, but Kevin's like, I wish I could say the same, but you're still a jackass. And then Shane says, I get it, well, good luck, and, have fun. Lets him in. So we have that. Then we have Randy Orton versus Keith Lee again. Why did we do this match again? What was the point of it? Yes, the only thing I remember about this match was that Keith Lee was able to avoid 2 RKOs. One, Orton went for the RKO. Lee stayed strong and held to prevent him from getting down on him. The second one, Orton just missed him and fell flat on his butt. And the third one, he hits him, but just like from Keith Lee's Raw debut, Drew McIntyre goes out of nowhere and claymores Randy Orton in the jaw. That's the second one he got in the jaw. So what was the point of it? What did it do for Randy? What did it do for Keith? Nothing. So that was pointless to do. And of course McIntyre basically threatens saying you're going to see me in my nightmares. And then Adam Pearce comes down and then gets on Drew for not leaving and then sends a Raw referee to check on Orton, who is then, Pearce apologized to Orton, but Orton is like, your apologies mean nothing to him because, you're not doing your job and I'm getting hurt tonight, pretty much, as Orton's really selling his jaw from the Claymore kicks. We have Raw Underground. Aleister Black and Kevin Owens were fighting. Basically, to sum all up, Raw Underground ends up having Owens and Black brawling the whole entire time, but then it ends when Baba Tundi gets involved and beats both of them up. So why even have this match on Raw Underground? Why not just leave it out of it? It's made me sour on the whole idea. I was actually enjoying Raw Underground until this week, then I've started to sour on it. The other thing I'm starting to think too, I think Kevin Owens needs to go back to NXT. he's doing nothing as a babyface right now. He's directionless. He's literally just sitting around, I feel like. And if you turn him heel again, it's him being a heel again. You already went back and forth with him once. Right now, him being a heel doesn't do anything for him either. He's ran his mileage there, and it's nothing fresh for him to do as that. So quite frankly, to be honest, I send Owens back to NXT. I think he needs to go back. Like, if there's a list of people, I usually always have, people who I think should go back to NXT with benefit for going back. Kevin Owens, I think, now is taken towards the top of that list. Because he just feels like he feels dead in the water. So, again, they did that match just to feed them to whatever the heck his name was, which I thought was stupid. Okay, then we have these handicap matches with Shayna Baszler taking on the Riot Squad, then Nia Jax taking on the Riot Squad. Why? Because there's absolutely no depth in these divisions. So the first match, all I remember was Nia Jax was chirping at Shayna Baszler, saying that, oh, I can do much better than that. You're not doing anything much better than me. Oh my gosh. So the first match, Nia distracts Shayna, and Shayna gets rolled up and loses. The second match, Retribution puts the lights out and then protects Nia Jax. So you were able to make Shayna Baszler look like an idiot when she's about to pull off one of her deadliest moves. You have Nia Jax just distract her, saying, I can do better than that, and then just, laughs at her for losing. Just to set up for a Retribution segment. It actually did cut a promo saying that behind the Thunderdome is the same WWE as before, that discarded them and left them to feed on the scraps of content. Another one pipes up and says they're going to lay waste and destroy every WWE superstar, and a lot of people, of course, are expecting that was Dominic Dijakovic. Who knows? So yeah, they finally spoke, but I'm just saying I'm not going to care until they actually reveal themselves, because it's just dragging on right now, as I continue to say. The Mysterio say they're going to be in Dominic's corner tonight. Orton was then blindsided again by McIntyre with a third Claymore kick before he was sent to the hospital. So McIntyre accomplished his mission and getting payback on him. Still wish they would have kept him maybe off at least one more week before doing this, but it worked, who knows. Then we have Buddy Murphy and Dominic Mysterio in a street fight, and the rest of the Mysterio family was at ringside watching. The first half of this match I actually really enjoyed. It was fast-paced coming out. Obviously, again, Murphy wasn't playing around because, he wanted to earn back the respect of the man who pulled him out of his slump, which was Seth Rollins. But now that he's lost him, he feels like he's lost everything again. So, obviously, he needs to beat Murphy needs to beat Dominic to prove his penance. Again, I thought it was a fun, first half. Dominic even climbed up on top of the LED screens and took him out with a crossbody. But then in the second half, after the commercial break, it was mostly Murphy. But then Dominic turned it around after Murphy had tied Dominic up with the ropes, and when he wasn't looking, I guess Ray helped set him free. And then my favorite spot of this match is definitely Dominic doing that sunset, doing that thing where Ray slides on his stomach underneath the bottom ropes and does I am, and basically does a crossbody or something like that. Instead, he goes underneath it. Again, keep in mind, he's a good, 6 inches or so taller than his own dad. Probably maybe 8 inches. And just a sunset flip and hits Murphy into the table. And I thought it was a crazy spot. But then the match ends with not just Dominic, but Ray, Aaliyah, and Angie getting in the ring and beating down on Murphy until Murphy basically, submits and says, I give up and whatnot. Here's the thing. That would have worked if it was Seth. That should have been Seth. Last week, they kind of backed himself into a weird corner, having Dominic compete against Seth for a WWE Championship opportunity match to get into a qualifying match. And I thought that, that's where they probably should have given Dominic or somebody a win over Seth. I know they kind of backed themselves in the corner, but this show here, if there was anybody who deserved that whooping that they gave Murphy, I still think it should have been Rollins. I think they had the wrong person, in my opinion. But that's how the show went off the air, as they kept beating up Murphy with the kendo sticks. And that's Raw. Let me check the polls in the live chat. Then again, I gotta get ready for bed for work tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. What grade would you give Raw? 5 votes. 40% said A, 40% said B. Nobody said C, and 20% said D or lower. Gave it a C+. Like the stuff with Cedric joining the Hurt Business, except for that finish of the match. I hated what they did with the women's tag titles. The stuff with Orton and McIntyre I thought was good. I didn't really like Raw Underground. But other than that, that was pretty much it. Before I go off the air, check the live chat. Archer said it was funny. He thought, why is Lana still there? I don't know. Elite Squad's all in for the Alexander heel turn. And he thinks that Ivar hurt his leg. Turns Owens heel. Again, like I said, either way, he still feels directionless. It looks like Seth is alone. I guess so, because, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like that main event, what happened at the end should have been the Rollins, not Murphy, but just my opinion. But guys, that's it for my review of Raw tonight. Gave it a C+, kind of went through fast and didn't really get super animated, but I'm starting to get tired and I have a busy week at work. So I'll be back up here tomorrow for NXT Super Tuesday. I will try to do live reactions for Adam Cole and Finn Balor for the NXT Championship and try to review NXT as well. I'll also upload the Cedric Alexander heel turn video, Return Alert, and make sure also check out my Clash of Champions 2020 card predictions, and make sure to also check out the most recent part of my Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix PC gameplays. I did that today as well. So guys, that's going to do it. What are your thoughts on Raw? Leave thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment to my channel, and follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. With that, guys, heading out, get a good night's rest. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace out, everybody.